What's up? Big Herc 916. Getting down with Fresh Out. You know how we do it over here. I'm here with my man, Rico Bandz. Man, we've been trying to make this happen for a minute. We actually in AZ filming one. So, yeah, we were able to connect and sit down and chop it up. So, Rico, tell the people about like where you're from, how you grew up, man, and, what led to you actually going to prison.
I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. South Phoenix to be exact. I grew up in you know, a rough neighborhood, just like anybody else. Just coming up in poverty. Poverty.
I edited it.
Hold on. Let's ask that for me again. My bad, brother.
So, tell the people about like where you're from, how you grew up, and what led to you going to prison.
I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I grew up in South Phoenix. What led me to go to prison um, as a kid, it was drugs everywhere. In my neighborhood. I go outside, I just seen people selling drugs. I seen people with the old school cars, with the Daytons and, the Jerry curls and stuff like that, just living that fast life. And I always wanted to be a rapper and a drug dealer.
Hmm.
So growing up, that's all I wanted to do. That's all I seen. And I became a rapper and I sold drugs.
What was the family life like? Did you have both parents in the household? Did you have any positive influences around you?
I had my mother. Um, she did the best for us. You know what I mean? I can't complain. It was just that I had my eyes set on something.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's what I seen on TV on the box. They had a channel called the Box back
I
then,
remember the box.
and you seen the MCAs, the Spice Ones, the DJ Quicks, and you know the Two Shorts. And I'm like, man, I want to live that life. I was a kid. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
yeah.
didn't know, but that's all I seen outside. You know what I mean? I didn't play football. I didn't play no sports and none of that.
Was there anybody you looked up to in the streets that had a big impact on you? Was there anybody like that was maybe on the other side in school that kind of like tried to guide you and you were kind of pulled in, different directions? I mean,
I mean, my grandfather, man, he come from Oklahoma, and my grandmother, they tried their best for us as well. Going to church, um, fixing on cars, do chores. They took us, you know, fishing. They had an RV. I thought everybody in the hood had an RV and boat and stuff, but I guess we was
yeah.
the only one.
Oh, wow.
And his twin brother stayed down the street, Jeff, and he had the same thing. So our family, we'll go do that like summer times and stuff like that. But on the other side of that, no, that's all I had.
So, like, as far as in the streets and the people that were kind of the big influence, what was like getting into the game? Like, 'cause I know, uh, how I growing up seeing dudes, I didn't know what the hell crack was or what dope was, but it kind of pulled me there, and I knew it was wrong. But it's like it seemed like you said it was the cool thing, and these dudes have females, and they had the cars, the Jerry curls, they have money.
I knew what crack was at like 5. I started smoking weed at 7.
Oh shit, okay,
You know what I mean? Like blunts, joints,
yeah,
bongs at 7.
damn.
Yeah.
How'd you get introduced to that so at such a young
It was just around, and my brother and my older brother's friends, we was kids, so they'd be like, "Here, hit this." They seen us get high
Ah,
and,
yeah, yeah.
laughing and shit like that, but that's what it was.
So who introduced you to drugs as far as like the dope game though? Who kind of put you on as far as this is how you break it down, this is how you get it, this is where you go.
I mean, we was a kid, we seen like, some of our family members, selling drugs, cooking it up, chopping it up. But when it was time for us, me and my friends and family, to get down, we were scared to go to a particular person that had it. So they was like, "Won't you go over there and get it for us?" Because they knew
Mm.
I wouldn't get in trouble. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it wouldn't get back to my mother. So I went. I used to go and cop for all of us.
Mm.
Yeah.
And how long did that last? I mean, did you kind of work your way up into the game, and then eventually, I mean, it became acceptable because I mean, nobody was like, man, where you get this money from? Which the son, you don't need to be doing this. Did anybody like try to correct you on it?
Yeah, my mom. My mom did. She had inherited a lot of money when her father passed away, and she moved us to like a rich neighborhood. It was like an all white neighborhood, and we were the only black kids there. We stayed there for about like 5 6 years until she ran out of money, and she had a bad relationship with my sister's father, and the money was gone.
Mm.
So I think the reason why I went so hard it was I got a taste to live like like them. the nice cars. We had Rolls Royces, limousines, and all that stuff.
Mm.
Lexuses, Jaguars. I got a taste of that, and then we moved back to the neighborhood, the house
Oh
that we moved
man.
out of, and I wanted to get back over there.
Wow. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the people that I'm going to school with up over here, they want to go to the hood, so they
Yeah.
loving this shit. I'm like, hey man, you want to drive my Impala? Let me drive that BMW.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like I got to get over there.
Damn. Um, as you got deeper into the game, I mean, how were you able to like avoid a lot of the bullshit? Because a lot of people just think like, oh man, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna make this money, but there's a lot of things you deal with. Dudes trying to jack you, dudes with bullshit dope, or you get this and it ain't what it's supposed to be. That it's not the way. It's all these different pitfalls, man. That you learn. I mean, you haven't been exposed to it. Maybe you learned earlier, but I know I learned the hard way. But how do you manage to get past all that to get to a point where you actually making something of that? Because it's a scandalous game, man.
I mean, my neighborhood. I'm from the back streets. I grew up on the back streets on South Phoenix, and you know, people already knew how we got down. You know what I mean? So I didn't experience nothing like that. When it was time to handle business, we handled the business.
Okay.
But like first time I ever got incarcerated, I was 13. So I've been on and off probation since I was 13. I just finally got off like 2 weeks ago, and I'm
Damn.
42.
Wow. Two
Yeah,
weeks ago.
yeah,
Congratulations, man.
yeah.
Damn.
So the juvenile system, I've done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started young.
And what led to your first like really like serious like state case?
Man, I've been doing music for a while. I put out my first CD when I was 17 called So Many Ways to Ball. And I had a producer named Chris Hollywood from LA. And he was like, man, I'm gonna get you a deal. So we worked all the way from when I was probably like 16 to like when I was 20, I think I was 23. I signed a deal with Warner Brothers for $1.5 million.
Mm.
And what I did? I bought more drugs.
What was that like getting that deal though, man? 'Cause that's like a dream. Like a lot of these dudes, like he said, I remember writing rhymes in high school, like thinking, man, I want to be a rapper too. I mean, that's a dream for a lot of kids coming up, and to get that opportunity. Did it feel like it changed things or just made it the streets more enticing? I mean, what was that like, man, seeing a check like that, man?
It changed me, and a lot of people changed on me.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Just had their hand out. But I was, sipping codeine around that time, smoking weed, just partying. I didn't see none of it. You know what I mean? Until I got incarcerated. I went to prison for a conspiracy. It was like a 300 indictment. They had the phones tapped. It was called Operation Trident,
Damn.
and incarcerated a lot of people from South Phoenix, the West Side, the East Side, man, and really railroaded us.
Did they catch you guys with any drugs?
I didn't cover no drugs, no money.
And see, that's the thing
I
about
got 5 years for
conspiracy
that.
that people don't realize. I've seen a lot of dudes in the feds they don't even know the person, but they said they were getting some from somebody that knew somebody, and they said it came from this person. And they have been out the game for years,
Yeah.
and they ended up getting 20 years.
They illegally tapped our phones. I was the only one on the case whose phone got terminated after 30 days. But then they caught me on somebody else's phone, and one of our friends called me and said, "Hey man, I got a bottle of syrup over here. Where is such and such at?" And I'm like, "He ain't here." I said, "Man, let me get it. How much do they want for it?" He was like $100. I got 5 years for that.
God, man, that just like that on the damn a
They
legal phone
they
tap.
couldn't get me on nothing else.
Yeah,
And of course we had snitches and then informers, people that was
yeah,
around us. And I would have to go to trial to see who that
yeah.
was, and I couldn't chance that because they was trying to give me 215 years if I took it to trial.
Damn.
I had 43 felonies.
God, man.
Yeah.
And see, that's the
So
thing too. You thinking like, okay, I'm being this is one thing they're talking about, but you get the indictment, you got 40 some counts. You're like, what is all this other stuff?
man, it was crazy. Like illegal use of a cell phone, conspiracy, illegal control of enterprise, money laundering, um, transportation of narcotics, and I'm
Where's
like
the narcotics?
they say the syrup was narcotic,
Oh, wow.
and then dangerous drugs. It was something like ecstasy or something, but I never got caught with anything. So I stayed in there 14 months, 425 days fighting my case. And I was just praying to Allah. You know, I found Islam in the county jail. And I just heard a voice in my head one day, like, what can you do? You going to prison. I'm like, I could do 5. And about 10 months into fighting the case, I finally get a settlement conference. And she was like, 5 to 8, the prosecutor. 5 to 8. I said, man, y'all give me 5, I'll sign right now. She said, okay. I was like, damn. I already knew I was going to prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I took my shahada in there and I just walked with my faith and did my time.
So when you took the deal and they designated you to wherever you're going to do your time at, did that change your mentality as far as how you looked at like what you were going to do when you got out, or were you still kind of like on like on the border? I mean, did you feel like, man, I got to get in here and do something different?
I was 25, man. I lost everything, man. You know, people left, my baby mama left, so you know, money wasn't right. I started hustling in there. You know what I mean? Like just low key. You know, just stacking up some bread. And I had a plan when I came home. I stuck to it, and after that bid, I came home, did my music again, did a single with I Am Sue, um, and then one day, a mutual friend, family member was like, "Hey man, I'm trying to do this," and I'm like, "Bro, I'm good. Like I'm already straight." He was like, "Man, I need your help, please," and I did it. And as soon as I put that bag in that trunk, I felt weird.
Mm. Mm.
I hit the corner. I'm like, "What? Why is that car right there?" He's like, "Man, I don't know," but I just felt like somebody was taking a picture, like I was being followed.
Mm.
And we get on the road, unmarked car, high speed chase. Here we go again. I ran. I got out the car and I ran. I didn't look back. I ran for 2 years and 1 month. They caught me in Memphis, Tennessee. I fought my case for a year and 8 months. They let me get bond, and I ended up getting 4 years. So I messed my whole life up again. You know, and the day I was supposed to get off probation, that's the
Oh
day
man.
I got.
Now, who was this cat? Did you ever see him or hear from him again?
Nah, I I haven't.
That's crazy, man.
I don't really know. Like I don't really know what happened. I just know he said he wanted this,
Wow.
and I got it, and I'm the only one.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
So when did you? So was that bid in Memphis, or did they bring you back to Arizona
I
to
did
do
some
that?
time. I did some time in Shelby County in Memphis.
Okay.
Um, they call it 201 out there. Shout out to Memphis. They held me down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they shot me back to Arizona, and I think I stayed there for like 3 months or something. Yeah. And my lawyer ended up giving. Shout out to Cameron Morgan. Morgan. He ended up giving me getting me get me out on bond because
Okay.
I had a probation hold, but I was off probation. So
Mm.
that day I got off of it, but they used that to
Enhance you?
no, no they didn't.
Okay.
They wanted to give me 10 years. I paid 50,000 for my lawyer, and I got 4 years.
Damn.
Yeah, because I had other charge. You know, the charges I signed for the first bid. I think out of those 43 felonies, I signed for 5, which I got railroaded on that later on. And when I said, if I ever get in trouble, I'm a hire Cameron Morgan. He's out of Scottsdale. And I sat down with him and I gave him my name. He was like, I remember you. If you would have hired me, you would have went home.
Mm.
And the person that hired him on our case, went home. He was actually DMX lawyer too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So during that time, when you did the second bid, what was different, man? I mean, how'd you do your bid? As far as opposed to the first time, because like you're a little bit older, you went through the system already.
When I was on a run, I had a chance to change my life by investing in different things. I bought a beer and wine store on the run. I invested into Twin Peaks in Cleveland, got 20% of that. I started a grill company called Mouthful of Bandz, and uh, a weed company called Tree Junkie at that time. We just recently changed the name to Cannabis, and it's going viral now. And I also turned my home that I bought, into a behavioral health facility when I left.
Mm.
So I was suffering from depression. I was on Percocets, you know, drinking all the time, and my house was a home to help people that were suffering from the same things I was going through.
Well, so you kind of set yourself up then. So
Yeah,
luckily when you got out, you had things to kind of fall back
yeah. And I
on.
started a trucking company in prison as well.
So fast forward, you're getting out, you're doing your thing. Um, what has been like your biggest motivation? I know you said like you got the health facility and you got the other businesses, but um, has there been anybody that's been instrumental that you feel like that's really influenced you or had an impact on you that kind of like helped you take things in a different direction? I mean,
Yeah, Aunt Maurice Williams, man, he helped me out when I got out on bond. He was like, man, you got to change. I bought my first house from him with my credit. He helped me get my credit together and showed me how to do it the right way, the legal way.
okay,
Yeah. So we went partnership on businesses and we got partnership on housing. I flip houses as well.
okay,
He I left him all my money when I came home. I mean when I left him all my money when I went to prison. Everything. I signed it over. Everything. The houses, he had control of everything. And when I came home he gave it back.
damn,
I didn't lose
that's a lot of
nothing.
trust, man.
That's all I had.
Yeah, yeah,
I had my mom and stuff, but you know how women are.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, oh
yeah,
baby, I had to do this. I'm like,
yeah,
nah, you can't. Hey, whatever
yeah,
you need, just go to Mo.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But he looked out for me, man. And when I came home, when they opened up them gates, there was so much love out there. It was crazy. I didn't even expect it. It's on YouTube. And I was just like, wow.
What what would you share with like these youngsters out there? I know I was talking with a guy earlier. I did another interview with a dude on a stream, and he was saying, "Big Herc, man, they just gonna have to learn the hard way." A lot of them don't want to listen. I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, do you think like you're sharing your message or talking to some of these youngsters that they actually get it, or are a lot of them just like too far gone? I mean, because it seems like more young people are really caught up in the drugs than when I was growing up. There wasn't that many people. A couple of people smoke weed, but we were health fanatics. Everybody worked out. Everybody was on swole.
Yeah, for
Dudes
sure.
was into sports. That was a big thing in my neighborhood, being able to dunk a basketball,
Hmm.
quick on the football field, fight, physically be in shape. Everybody was doing something.
I can't speak for, everyone, but I know what I'm here to do on earth. I'm here to help people, put smiles on people's faces even when I'm hurting. So I try to reach out and I try to help as much people as I can. Right now, I'm going to school right now to get my peer support certificate. I have it on Friday. You know what I mean? Like the whole time I was in prison, this last bid, I helped a lot of people get off drugs. The warden was crying when I left.
Mm.
I said, I gotta go.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But I helped so many people. They was on fentanyl pills and stuff, and it's easy to get in there, anything. And I helped so many people get off drugs.
Do you think that's one of the biggest issues outside of like family values? Do you think like the drugs has just really destroyed a lot of the families and young people?
Yeah, because I was on drugs. I mean, I sipped syrup for like 15 years. I didn't know that it was heroin and codeine. I didn't know that
Mm.
until I went to went to jail, and I'm sick and my stomach hurting. I can't eat, and I'm shitting diarrhea. And my celly, he do heroin. He was like, "Man, you do it?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "These are the same
Oh
symptoms,"
wow.
but I did not know. I just knew I just needed it, and I might get sick a little bit here and there, and my nose would be running. I used to drink a pint a day.
Damn.
Yeah,
And is that and like the syrup? That's what Chris Brown, a lot of the entertainers mix with
yeah,
like
for
the Seven
sure.
Up and stuff, right?
Yeah, with the
Yeah,
Sprite. Yeah.
yeah. Um, what would be your takeaway message, man, from people watching your story or somebody trying to clean themselves up? What would you like to say to them or share with them as far as from your life experience?
You gotta find yourself. You gotta learn yourself. You gotta really like get deep into yourself, your life, like your creator, like whoever you believe in. You know what I mean? You believe in God. He has many names, but you gotta really like find yourself. You have to want to change. You know what I mean? A lot of people be like, man, I ain't gonna let it get a hold of me, or oh, I'm gonna stop, or whatever. You have to stop. You got to just completely stop. You got to give your all. And if you don't do that, then you're just gonna fall.
Now, what about like some of the misconceptions about prison? Because I see a lot of stuff on social media now where they try to make it seem like dudes is in there chilling. They got the drugs, they got the cell phones, they got the spreads and all that stuff. I mean, what would you like? What would you counter with that? Because I tell people, man, I tell you, I was depressed in there. I was miserable, bro. I mean, I every day I was in there, I used to think about all the places I could be and the things I could be doing besides sitting here with these dudes, and I gotta entertain this bullshit. And I'm like, it was horrible. You try to laugh, but at the end of the day, when they shut that door again, reality sets in.
Man, they put me in one of the worstest prisons in Arizona, and I was sitting there like, man, I'm here, and it was all drug. It was drugs there. Anything you can get on the street, you can get in there. I mean, the phones was there, drugs, whatever. And I remember one day I was talking to one of my partners, man, and he was nodding off. I'm like, man, what the hell? But he was swole, you know what I mean? Like we used to work it all the time. And I went and grabbed my cousin. I'm like, hey man, is he good? And he like this with his tablet because they give us tablets now. And I'm like, damn. About a week later, I'm back there asking him questions like, man, how does shit make you feel? And what it doing to you? He's like, man, it's like a Percocet on 10. My mind is telling me to try this. Like I could man, try it. And I'm like, hell no. I'm talking like hell no.
Yeah,
And it's the month of Ramadan. And I just told him, I said, you know what, man, stay away from me, fam. Like I gotta save myself
yeah, yeah.
because I'm looking to the left. This dude right here next to me is smoking uh, uh, crystal meth. In the back, they're smoking crystal meth, and they're shooting up right here. It's like it's
Damn.
everywhere. So then this person's drinking bottle. I got put in hell. Like I really got put in hell, but it was for a reason. It was for me to wake up
Yeah,
this time. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I heard a voice say, "I gave you everything." No, the first time you went to prison, I took away everything. You came out with nothing. This time you're gonna have everything you have and more. What is your excuse now? I said I don't have. I just said I don't have one. I don't have no excuses.
Yeah.
I know what I have to do. Get my shit together.
I tell people, it's almost like, and somebody says, "Oh man, you're blaming somebody else." I say, I'm not blaming nobody. I take full responsibility for what I did to go to prison. But I feel like when you're under almost a spell
Yeah,
and you're out here on autopilot, and like you said, you're living a lifestyle, until you get snapped out of that. And sometimes for me, it was getting the handcuffs put on me and being like, "Oh shit, I'm not
yeah.
going home tonight."
I'm
You know
not
what I
get. I'm
mean?
not getting out.
I'm not getting out.
It
For
says
other
no
dudes,
bond.
it might be their girl leaving them on the phone, maybe their some family member dying. But like when you get snapped out of that spell, and I tell people, a lot of people are out here under spell. They're almost possessed.
For sure. You can see it in them.
You know how they're moving, how they're
Man,
reacting and stuff. And so I just try to say, like you said, having faith in God, having faith in something that there is a greater purpose. Because at the end of the day, why are you still here? Why are you able to share
man,
this
come
message?
on, man. For sure. I told everybody before I left, I don't need no money. I just need support. And everybody, shout out to everybody that supported me and held it down for me, man. I appreciate y'all, man, because I had the most pictures on my tablet. I had the most music. You know what I mean? Like Mike Rashid to send me some bread, and I get some pictures, and the CEOs would be like, "You know him? I work out. I watch him on YouTube. Like all the select. Oh, you got pictures? Oh, you know Kevin Gates? Like I'm like, yeah, these are my partners. You know what I mean? So man, they gave me the support. They pushed me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I had that backing, so I'm thankful for that.
You think having that other perspective and then finding faith, you think that had a lot to do with your transformation?
Yeah,
Because a lot of guys in there,
it did.
they don't have like a point of reflection. Like a lot of dudes are like, man, all they know is the projects, or all they know is this. But if you have a point of reflection, of a good place that you can kind of look to and be like, man, I want to get back to that.
It's like my body was locked. My body was trapped, but my mind was somewhere else. Like I get up in the morning, I drink my coffee, I work out. I come back in my room and I study. You know what I mean? Just research, do a lot of researching. I had a lot of books, and I was just to myself, just preparing myself to come home
Hmm.
to be greater. You know what I mean? And I didn't let none of the they be like, hey man, such and such fighting or this happened. I was like, hey man, y'all get away from me, man.
Yeah,
That ain't got nothing to do with me. Now, if it was something serious and it was about the brothers, I'm pushing the line for that. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I tell them we got to go home.
yeah.
I'm going home no matter what.
Hmm.
You come around here playing, I'm gonna give you what you want
Hmm.
because I got to go home. You know how it is in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That was it. I just stayed to myself.
yeah. So that you actually moved kind of like how I moved. You avoided all the political bullshit, kind of kept yourself out the way. Were able to kind of maneuver
Yeah.
and like you said, there's certain things if need be, you're gonna have to
Yeah. When they needed me,
yeah
when they
take
needed
care of
me,
business.
they'd come and I'd go over there and talk to people and hey man, we ain't doing this. Whites, Mexicans, Pisces, Indians, like they all knew how I was moving.
Yeah. Are you still doing anything with the music industry?
Yeah, I came home and dropped a single called Big Mad Little Mad, who was almost top 40 on the radio station. And then I started like getting sick. I had kidney stones, so I didn't. I felt sick in prison, but I didn't know. You know what I mean? They don't really check it like that. So I had kidney stones, had to get the surgery and all that. And my probation um, wouldn't allow me to go tour, so it was like I'm just stuck in Arizona.
Oh, yeah,
So they was like, "Oh, you're American terrorist," or because the charges I had, and it
yeah.
was just really conspiracy and illegal control of the enterprise. But I wasn't allowed to travel. They said, "Oh, you can do one state a month." If I'm trying to go on tour and they got a 25 city tour,
Yeah,
I only can do one, so I'm only going to get paid for.
yeah, yeah. He hit one the state come back. Yeah.
So my probation officer, shout out to her too. I got off a year and a half early. I'm
Okay.
still supposed to be on probation for another year and a half, but I did everything they asked me to do. You know what I mean? They see me giving back. They see me talking to kids. They see me going to the juvenile system. And what really helped me was going to get my peer support certificate. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I was um, preparing for this for a long time, and then it finally came, and I'm there. I'm 2 more days,
Okay. And so
and it's going to allow me to go back into the prisons and talk.
kind of share your story with
Yeah,
everybody, your testimony.
go see some of my friends and see them. Yeah, go back into the prisons and and show them, hey man, we can do it. Like, don't give up.
Yeah.
Because I got family members. I got a family member named Snoop, man. He got natural life and he's fighting. I got another family member named Killer Cam. He's doing natural life and they still fighting. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't seen them in a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I
Yeah.
got, when I was like, man, I want to, help them come home.
That's right.
Do all I can do to get them home.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's a lot more. I got a big homie named O doing natural life. Chicken Hawk. He was with And One. Playing basketball. He's in there doing life. My boy Rome, he just came home. He did 33 years. He just came home, man, and he
damn.
he really mentored me and helped me because I was losing my mind in there a little bit, at times because I had a female that I was in love with and wanted to be with, and she just went her own way. But yeah, he helped me. Shout out to Rome, and he's home now. Like, that's crazy.
33 years, man. Blessings to him and getting up out of there, man. Because like I said, it's prison, man. I tell people, dudes who try to like glorify it. To me, it's like living in hell because you're watching life go by on TV, things advancing, and you're stuck. You
Yeah,
might have a little bit of access or see something, but until you get back out here, you don't know. I mean, you get out and the streets look the same, but shit's totally different. You know what I mean? It's like,
totally
damn, this
different.
is it's not the same get down. Technology's changed, everything's changed, and it's almost like when you get locked up, the day you get locked up, I've seen guys get locked up in their early 20s. They get out when they're damn near 50, but they still think they're in their early 20s because that was their last memory on the street. So you're
Yeah,
talking like, oh, remember old girl, blah, blah, blah. Dude, she married, gone. That person's
yeah.
moved. Dude, that's just old. But that's like you keep repeating old stories, man. It's
And
like a time warp.
it's crazy. It's like my son. My son is 18, and I done did 9 years in prison. So I still look at him like a 9-year-old. He'd be like, "Dad, I'm not a kid." You know what
Yeah,
I mean? He'd
yeah,
be like, "I'm
yeah,
not a kid."
yeah.
I'm like, "Damn."
Yeah, because time still goes.
You
You
know,
know, I mean, it's, to some degree, some people get preserved, but you get out and time moves on, man. So it's just weird. It's a weird place, man.
yes, sir.
You know. Um, so what about your people looking you up on your social media? How they find you, man? And
You can find me on Instagram. I am Rico Bandz with a Z. That's Bandz. And my grill company, I do grills and I do jewelry. I did this right here. It's called Mouthful of Bands. Mouffulabandz.
okay, and we'll put the links in the description and
Yeah.
stuff so that people can
So I
find
do
you.
I do a lot of people teeth. I work with Johnny Dane out there in Houston.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in closing, like, what would you like to say to the people watching? You know, um, something that you'd want them to share, or listening to your interview to take away.
I hope this interview helps you. You know what I mean? In every way. You know what I mean? Uh, don't give up. Keep believing in your Creator, and just live life, man, and learn every day. You know, life is a lesson itself. You know, so peace, love, and blessings. Salam alaikum. Recommend to Allah, better content.
And one more thing too, I meant to ask you actually earlier, like, is there anything like you can recollect, like in prison, that was kind of like, uh this is crazy moment, you know what I mean, like where you think about it, because I know there's,
You talking about like a crazy moment that I had in there?
like in prison, or something you've seen, because I know, like, people,
Seen or something that happened?
something that happened or something you've seen, either way. I mean, I've seen people
I mean,
stabbed in.
I've seen a lot of things happen, but something that happened to me that changed my life, that made me look at life different. For 6 months, I thought I had cancer. So I'm going to get this blood work. They tell me, oh, you got to get, you might have to do this to get the some, what they call the little balls or something. It was like, you know, cancer
Like,
right
yeah,
down
like,
here.
yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, what the hell going on? I'm scared, you know what I mean? But I ain't saying nothing to nobody. I'm praying every day. They like, man, why they keep calling you the medical? I'm like, man, I got high blood pressure, man. You know what I mean? I got high blood pressure. My cholesterol's high. But they calling my name on the speaker they send the specialists and stuff. And I'm like, damn, I'm gonna die like this. Like, what about my will? I'm looking at pictures and shit. I'm like, I'm about to get skinny. Man, they sent this lady from another prison. She came and she did, a whole bunch of blood work, a whole bunch of tests and stuff. And she said I had like prostatitis or something. You know what I mean? And I guess I was working out too much, doing squats and stuff. But for that 6 months, I thought I was dying. And that was
Mm.
the craziest shit that ever happened to me in prison. And so my partner, Florida, he used to always ask me, like, man, you good? What's wrong with you? I'm like, yeah, I'm good, straight, man. I'm good. I'm good. And then when I told him what happened, he was like, bro, no one would have never knew. You didn't say nothing to nobody. I said, man, I was just fighting this battle, man. I don't know if I had it and went away. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
But I came up out of that. 6 months. For 6 months, you think you dying? That'll fuck you up.
yeah,
So I look at life different now.
yeah. And the medical in prison, man, it ain't.
They don't really do their
Man,
job.
shit, you got like those some of the quack doctors and nurses, until you can get like somebody to take you to the streets, and that's a whole nother process.
I didn't ask God why, or this, and that. I just say it is what it is. I'm just praying every day. Just watch over my family. Save me from the hellfire.
Is there anything that you feel you could have told a younger version of you that maybe would have took you down a different path?
So a younger version of me, I think this path that I'm walking was supposed to happen. I think it was already wrote.
You don't think there's like, had you maybe seen or somebody interacted with you, do you see like a crossroad that maybe looking back, that maybe that would have took you down a different path, instead of the path you went down, or do you just think you were just destined for this path?
I was destined for this path. This is my, this is what God wanted for me to experience out of this life. Yeah, I don't regret nothing. I just go with the flow.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I can't. That's how it happened. It's wrote. It's wrote for everybody. Like this interview was already
yeah,
supposed to happen. How we met is supposed to
yeah,
happen. I just keep on going.
yeah. It's life is a trip, man.
It is.
I know. I know. when I used to be sitting in prison, I look around, everybody sitting here, I'm like, man, what am I doing here, man? And you like, it's like they're like these dudes are zone, like they're into the game and stuff, and I'm like, dude, don't nobody want to go home. This is like crazy, man. Everybody just chilling. This is
You seeing people get money sent in these people, man, and they just blown it on drugs. I'm seeing people get $100 food boxes and all this stuff and got to give it all out and only can keep a candy bar and some chips and a soda. I'm like, damn, you do this every week, bro. I'm trying to read a book and they over there shooting up and smoking meth and
that's
all the
crazy,
time. I'm
man.
like, bro, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I got to put a sheet over my, you know what I'm saying, over my, not a sheet, but a
Wow.
shirt over my shit just to, this shit is
They
crazy.
getting down like that?
It was getting down like that.
Wow. Well, man, I'm glad we were able to get together and chop it up, man. Because everybody's experience is different, man. I
Yeah,
mean, you know, you didn't doing time out here in Arizona in the state. You know, I was in the feds, and I hadn't really. I maybe interviewed one or two people that were from Arizona, but everybody's experience is different. And I
for
think you
sure.
know, a young person hearing your story, you know, maybe it could be inspired to make changes, to maybe seek an alternative to what they're doing. I just try to like somehow hopefully put this, if somebody hears it from somebody else other than me, maybe it'll resonate differently.
For sure.
And so, you know, to those out there, parents, hopefully, you know, this will be something your kids can maybe learn from, or you can learn from and share with your kids. You know how we do it over here. Big Herc 916, fresh out, and Rico Bandz.